And yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe. Waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe. Waiting's what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practice. Fitness, he found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, estate rating paralysis. With lengthy game analysis, with sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be.
All right, good morning, JW. Well, you gotta put a proper hat on here, Cry. Put a real hat on. Put a man's hat on, bud. Come on now. All right, so it's the ChessDojo training program. JW's with me here. We got about 20-some people today, so should be a fine show. And I think what the show's going to evolve to is Jack is going to make it so I can see if someone's annotated a game or not. And I think maybe if they haven't or if they've done just a little work, I might skip those graduations. But as you can see today, we got everybody has at least one dojo point. Even Foster Dill here has got one going on here. So let's read about Exequio. The structure in the program thus far is invaluable. Reviewing my own games is akin to playing them again as both sides with a long, critical eye. My chess thinking likely has no choice but to improve. One thing I'd like to see changed is the use of ChessCom puzzles, which set full use behind a paywall. I imagine similar exercise could be performed on Chess Tempo and or Lead Chess. Okay, totally fair. Basically, we're really hoping to develop our own tactics trainer. And then the reason we haven't done it with Lead Chess or Chess Tempo is we don't like those as a metric. The Puzzle Rush Survival and the Puzzle Rush 5-minute and the Puzzle Rush Survival are both very good metrics of where you are tactically. All right, but let's go take a look. We're going to make our own metric, though. We're going to make it grand. All right, he just joined. He's played some games. He's improving. This is looking great. I don't know. Maybe he fell down, actually, because he's been using Lead Chess and might have fallen down a little bit. He's got some clubs. He's in the Asian dojo. All right. Games. Ba-bam. And he just played this one very recently, so let's take a look. A little bit light on the annotations, but let's look at this. Also, when you play on Lead Chess, you can import your times. That's important for us. And let's now go game review, and I bet I'm going to have to get the windows. So let's go grab some windows. Ba-bam. Ba-bam. All right, so these are his notes that you can see. All right. Actually, fine so far. This has got to be a mistake. Yeah, what are we doing? Opening up the king, not developing pieces. Takes, probably a mistake. Helping black with bring the bishop out. Mistake, not developing. Mistake, not developing. I like queen e7 better, but okay. Mistake, not developing. Mistake. Well, that's not a mistake. You had to move the queen. All right. Queen f3. We're going to call this a dirty trick, but since you actually are threatening a4, we're going to say it's okay. f5, don't like it. Why not? Because it's not developing. You need to bring your creatures out. This guy could be a good creature to bring out. Again, I want you to bring your pieces out. Good. Poor move. Horrendous. What are we doing? Okay. So we're doing a little bit of the old moving around here. And white doesn't know what they're doing. Get some trading going on. Frisky. Well, let's just pause to say, this guy put the rook here to protect the pawn. And we needed to have done something in the last several moves to do something about it. Notice what you did is you traded off all your pieces that weren't this bishop. This bishop is your bad bishop. And all of a sudden, white isn't doing that bad here. This is not a great move. Let's see a snip. Big question here, though, would have been, could white have won a coconut with knight e5? All right, so now you're easily winning. I don't know what that does. Good move. Good move. Oh, that wasn't it. Oh, no! Oh! You have mate on the board, my friends. Okay. So, we again have mate on the board. We're missing mates. We're missing mates. It's funny, we played it only after all that. And what are we doing, rook e7? What's that? Go play rook e1. All right, some straight crazy things here. Crazy things going on. Black eventually wins this game. So we want a little bit deeper of notes. I think you're going to improve. Notice, importante, that when we look at your ratings, we really want it to be actually over 500 in this case. Let me go back to the grand show. Okay. I got a pretty good T going on here. Next up, we have W. Clark. And he says, I have thoroughly enjoyed having a structured plan that keeps me motivated, which is mainly what I wanted when I joined. I think what helped me the most is just forcing me to play slower time controls. This alone has resulted in me making better decisions on the board, decisions with more sound thinking behind them. Forcing me to analyze games has also been beneficial, as I've noticed that I have been memorizing patterns that have occurred in previous games that I have analyzed, and am more familiar with the position than I would have been had I not given the previous game any thought. It is also improving my ability to annotate and see notation quicker. I am not always able to focus on completing my goals every day due to my busy schedule, but do try my best to do at least something every day. Okay. Here's W. Clark. Oh, he's going up. In fact, W. Clark is ready to graduate again. He's already way up there at 639. Pretty new to the dojo. He's got some clubs. Oh, he's in Louisville. The Louisville Legends. All right. And let's go here. He's got a lot of games. A lot of games for somebody who's just joined. Let's see what's going on. Again, kind of light annotations. So we want a little bit more. Let's look at the time graph. Now, one thing we'll say is that time usage, pretty good. A lot of times at this level, we'll see it, I'm sure, in this grad show. We'll see people who don't think at all at the lower levels. So this is an encouraging sign over here. Oh. Okay. I got a little notification in Dojo Land. Distracted. So, reasonable play, good. A surprisingly strong play from both sides here. Now, the question would be bishop b4, and does that win e4? So that would be something we would want to talk about. And this is a mistake because it's allowing bishop g4, which is going to allow black to crack our d4 point. And this is a terrible move because it's not developing. Okay, we're going to call this reasonable. Reasonable. Now, taking is interesting. They go back. Rook b1, no understand. So, yeah, you're thinking that they're going to take, and no, it's too abstract. Too abstract. A basic move would be queen d3 to guard your pawn. It's like he obliges you too. He's like, okay, well, if that was your idea, I guess I'm doing it. Weird. Could black have taken the pawn? These are the questions I want you to ask. Rook b7. Okay. And this is now going to get a little hectic because knight a5, rook b4. There's the question of whether they can mess with you, especially via the move c5. I think you'd be okay still, but it's something we would want to ask. Okay. I don't understand that move. I don't understand why black isn't taking this pawn. Oh, cry, because the bishop's pinned. Sorry, it's a little early for me. That's a little early for me. But just take that thing on d5. What are we doing? Oh, yeah, this pawn is just hanging all over the place. And now this is terrible. Because what you're missing, what both players are missing, is you can just take this thing. This is not a mate, Mr. Tate. This is nice holding it. And then here black gets obsessed with taking on h3. Oh no, we got him. Okay, so one thing I can say is you're annotating a lot of games, and that's great. We would like you to see more time spent on the games here. There was a lot of questions here that didn't get answered, right? Okay, but well done. In fact, I'm going to try to remember, I have to heart these people to follow them because I like to follow all the graduates. Okay. Next up, we got Tom Clark, who's graduated a second time here. Pretty new to the dojo, 585, probably graduated and then lost a couple points. That happens. Got a pretty strong tactics rating. This checkmate puzzles thing, we're working on, my friends, but right now it's just completely inflated in terms of the rating. Okay, so no games. So, Tom Clark, I can see you're doing a lot of tactics. That's great. And if we go back to your ratings page, yeah, these are two pretty good metrics here, and it looks, so we're going to guess you're going to graduate soon. It'd be interesting to see things like how, if we played some games, what's your time usage like, things like that. All right. Next up, we got Jürgen. And Jürgen has done a lot of work. Let's go see what's going on. Retired software engineer, taking up chess at the age of 65. I wish I'd started this early, but regardless, I'll see how far I can get. Okay, beautiful. So, he also graduated and fell down just a touch. This all looks pretty good. Great to see that he is really committed here. You can see he's really done a lot of work. A lot of different colors, too, which is always good to see. The Down Under Dojo, okay. One thing, Jürgen, I think you should think about doing is playing in some of these senior events. There's even 65-plus events, so that's just a cool thing that you could get into. I'm playing in the 50-plus. All right, here we go. Jürgzi is playing over here. He has done a lot of games since joining the dojo. Hopefully, we'll get some good annotations. This looks pretty good. Okay. So now we're going to look at the time graph. Oh! Now this happens every graduation show. Every graduation show where we just see players who are not using their time. He says he's blundering a lot. And let's just talk, I say this every grad show. The main challenge to getting to 1,000 dojo, which is about 1250 ChessCom, is that players hang their stuff. That's the main one. So it's not only your opponents will also be hanging their stuff. It will help considerably you to not hang your stuff if you use your time. You can think of all that extra time as just like, do I got a grip on this? Am I hanging something? Your opponents will hang something every single game. All right, let's get into this one. Go to Ye Olde Game Review. Okay. Good chess so far. And in general, we don't want to take this knight. Okay, but you are maintaining you're gaining a tempo essentially by doing this. Okay, so that's the first really poor move. Black has no need of putting their bishop over there. Their bishop's already out. Good move. Reasonable. And it's really weird that they didn't play ED. They should still play ED right now. Okay. B3. Don't like it. Why not? It's not a developing move. What do I want to see? Moves like Queen E2, Queen C2, anything. Queen A4. Develop your coconuts. Poor move. Not developing and putting the bishop on this line. Good move. Okay. Reasonable. Reasonable. Frisky. Okay. I think your move's fine. Rook Fe1 also looks pretty good. It's going to be a little hard for you to crack him, though, even though I like your position here. Poor move lets you do this. Great. Poor move. Oh, no. There we go. Okay. So you got a beautiful position. So you add another defender. I would say the rook coming over here makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know what that does. I like H4. I don't understand that move. H5. Maybe. Maybe. The key question on this H5 move would be, how do we feel about G5? Are you playing G4 afterwards? No, I think he's in big trouble here. Because even if he doesn't play King G5, you're going to win this pawn. So I think he's done here. Very nice. Very nice. Now you call that a double question mark, but you know, you're doing fine. You're doing pretty good. All right, he's gonna resign in a couple moves. All right, so that was well done, and just a couple things when you think about your progress here, Jürgen. Your opponents, it's three things. I give the speech every time. I give the speech every time. But I've done this graduate show so long that I feel really good about the three things. So to make it to 1250, there are three things. One, getting a grip on the board. You and your opponents are hanging pieces every game. Just part of it. Once you realize that, you'll maybe slow down a little bit, and that's number two, using your time. And number three is development. There was a bunch of moves here. I'll just point out one. B3. You're not getting your people out. Bring those people out. You know, bring them out. And I get it. You had some idea of like, oh, I don't want him to take my A2 pawn or something. But if you thought a little bit, you'd be like, first of all, he's not even threatening the thing, right? And that was a 7-second thought. So that's just a simple way for you to improve, to slow down, and whenever you have the chance, not to play a move that doesn't develop the coconuts. Here's another one. Your opponent's doing it too. Okay. Ba-bam. Next up, we have August. Actually, wait, I want to follow Jürgen. See, I'm going to try to remember to do this here. So we can give Jürgen a follow. And now we got August, who has graduated a number of times. August took October off, but then he came back. He's graduated loads and loads of times. He's ready to graduate again, too. Look at this curve here. Yeah, he's doing great. All right, so we got clubs, French dojo, great. Games, My games. Nothing. Well, Auguste, you know what you need to do. I can see though that you're doing a lot of work. You're doing a lot of the tactics, which is good. We just need you to be playing some games. You can see you only got 2 out of 40, and getting them done, getting them analyzed. All right, next up we got Foster Dill. Foster Dill, I don't know. He only had 1 point. He was the guy I was making fun of earlier. He just joined though. He just hasn't done too much. That makes sense. So clubs, no clubs, games. Do we got some games? Nothing. So Foster Dill, totally acceptable for you to have just joined the dojo. You're ready to graduate again. And so I would say what you should do is, before hitting the graduation button, do a little bit of work and annotate some games, and then I'll take a look at it at the next graduation show, or whenever you decide to graduate. Let's give Foster Dill a follow here. Okay, now we have Christian Poveda. Christian Poveda also joined fairly recently. Looking good, yeah. It's cool to see that we've got a lot of people doing the checkmate puzzles. We gotta fix it. We gotta fix the ratings of it. He's on the adult improver. Tell us something about yourself, Christian. No games. So very typical. People join the dojo, don't have any games yet. That's part of it. Oh, I need a better shirt here, don't I? Okay. So give Christian a follow. And now we have GM Arsène Lupin. I feel like I should know the name Arsène Lupin. Okay, so 797, also graduated and then fell back a little bit. Has done a lot of tactics. Yeah, okay. GM, tell us about yourself. He's in Dojo Latino Americano. No games, and I don't know why I do this, but I'm going to go look up Arsène Lupin. I feel like that's a famous name that I should just know. It's a fictional gentleman thief and master of disguise. Created in 1905 by French writer Maurice Leblanc. Okay, there you go. There you go. Arsène Lupin contre Sherlock Holmes. Cool, let's give Arsène a follow here. And now we're going to talk about Holger. Holger is a cool name. When I lived in Germany, there was a guy on my Bundesliga team named Holger Grund. What happened to him, actually? Let's just do a little search. Holger Grund. Chess. Holger Grund. Let's go look. Yeah, basically he hasn't played since 2015. Man, oh man, oh man. He was a strong player. Yeah. And he never even got an FM title? What? That guy was ready to be a GM. Huh. All right. Cry. Get it together. Holger writes, yesterday I managed to win 2 classical games on Lee Chess, which pushed my rating above 16. This marks my second graduation at the dojo. Really enjoyed the structured training plan and can clearly see the progress I'm making. Well, thank you, Holger. Let's give Holger a follow. Mid-50s, based in Germany. Okay, there we go. 919. Hey, look at this. He's just going up. Yeah, I don't even want to call those plateaus. Those are just days. Those are just days. Those aren't months or anything. Those are days where he's sitting there. Okay. So, we got some clubs over here. 50 plus, Deutschland, Chessens. German training program named Chessens with its own German chess club. Huh. Okay, I didn't know about Chessens. All right, do we got some games, Holger? Oh, we got loads. So here we go. Once again, not to think deeply enough about every move. Now, I just want to say something obvious. one of the things about going over your games, which the dojo's preaching, is so much of about it is just noticing obvious things and just saying them or writing them. So if you just like come up with something basic and be like, oh man, I'm not thinking. Now, it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to think longer next game, but it's going to put that pressure on you to go in the right direction. All right, here we go. Yeah, here it is. Very typical. You are not alone, Holger. You aren't alone, bud. You aren't alone. All right, now I want to ask here. It's a rated classical game. Great that you're playing longer. I think that's a beautiful thing. Okay, so let's get into the game review button. Totally poor by your opponent. Good move. H3, waste of time. Well said. So what's the right move? Either knight f3 or d4. Waste of time. We're going to call this a little poor because d4 just gives you more space because your bishop on e2 more space. Okay. 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 Poor, right? And he says he's got up several tempi, which is true. Now, one cool rule of thumb is if you are up in time, you want to open the position. So even now, playing a move like d4 might not be bad. Your move isn't poor. Poor move, not developing. And I want you to play rook e1 here. And you talk about knight d5. Maybe, just put your rook here. Just talk to him. Just give him a little conversation. Yeah, I think if you can eliminate moves like h3 and a3, they're not hard to eliminate. Just get religious about tempi. b4, don't like it. What do I want? I want you to put your rook in. Weird, I don't like it. I want you to put your rook in, or your bishop. Weird, he's not developing. Knight e4, okay, it's a good square. I don't like it, he's not developing. Weird, put your bishop on b2. There you go. Now that's kind of frisky to me. I don't know what we're doing. Why can't we put a rook here? Also, we might want to play d4. We want to open this bad boy up here. All right, knight f6. Yeah. That's just weird. Forget whatever. Maybe you missed h3, but why would we be putting the queen there? Okay, I don't like this g4 move because now you can take on h3 and honestly, I think he's in big trouble. Oh my gosh, that scares me. So, okay, bishop e5. Black should be thinking about snip, king, and f3, and then you're in the dungeon, as they say. You're in the real dungeon. It's at least a good try, gf4. What? Wait, why are you playing queen e4? Just go here. You're in big trouble and everything. We got to take the bishop back. And then rook f4 is cool and everything. I don't know why you wouldn't just take on a1. There's muchos things that I don't understand here. All right. So, Holger, a couple things here. First, you noted the time thing, and now I want to say you're aware of tempo because you write here I have an advantage of 2 tempi right here, right over here, right? And if you can be religious about taking your time and using using your tempi, you're going to do great because these people, they're hanging pieces. They're not developing them, right? And so that should be your path forward. Even if you don't improve in terms of skill, those are things that you can just, get so much better at. So a huge ramp of improvement for you. All right, let's give Holger a follow here. All right, so next up we have Kiri Tony. What does Kiri Tony have to say? All right, they're up to 921. Nice little curve. I've done some checkmate puzzles. Cry, you got to go back to here. And hello, Christian PVDRS, PVDRZ. I don't know what a lot of these things mean. Kiri Tony, do you have some games for us? He's got a game. This was played recently. Very minimal notes. And you can see here we got a reasonable, very good time usage from your opponent. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of skim this, but I'm basically going to decline to look at it because it's not really an annotation. You just have a couple thingamabobs, right? For example, you say, should have gone knight f3. This move isn't that bad, though. And here you should have gone knight f3. And this is what we want you to be aware of. Like, oh, these are the things that we want to be thinking about, right? Okay, well done. Well, you know, you just join the dojo. Just join the dojo. It's okay. You're not going to get everything right the first time. It's hard to annotate a game for the first time. All right. So we'll get out of there. We'll give Kiri Tony a follow. Next up, I got Adam Riley Parker, whose name I definitely recognize. Let me just check something here. I have something on the stove, and if I do not turn it off in time, I'm going to go straight to hell. All right, here's Adam Riley Parker. Ba-bam. And there he is, jumping way up there. Oh my gosh, these Lichess ratings are so outrageous. And he's in the wrong cohort. So Adam Riley Parker, but I don't know what you're doing, but you're in the wrong cohort. So we're gonna pick you up back when you're in the right one. All right, let's do one more, and I'm gonna do a little break after that to make sure I don't burn the house down. Austin Castle says, more through comments on my last thorough comments on my last graduation. Realized I could have just jumped up to the next cohort. Don't see why not. Have done a lot of untracked and on dojo specific work in the last 2 months, roughly double what my calendar shows. One thing I neglected to mention on my last graduation post, I have an opportunity to spend summer, early fall in Spain/Georgia with the intention of playing as many classical time control FIDE tournaments as possible. Anyone sees this and feels inclined, please reach out with the process of finding tournaments, logistics, etc. It would be very appreciated. I don't particularly care about my results. I want to build a large volume of games and, more importantly, comfortability in tournament settings. That's beautiful, Austin. Now, I just want to say, I think you mean Georgia, the country. I'm not sure. But in both of those countries, you have a huge, incredible, rich chess culture. I think in addition to it being beautiful chess, you'll just meet some amazing people. Can't recommend it enough. Just a beautiful thing. Kostya is playing a big tournament. I think he started today in Barcelona. Maybe I'll look that up a little bit later if I get a chance. What do I think about the Nimzovich-Larsen attack? Depends what we're talking about. If you're lower rated, I don't want you even knowing the names of the openings. I don't even want you knowing the names of the openings. But if you're a stronger player, it's fine. It's an interesting thing to do. All right, here we go, Austin. I'm going to take a break after this, as I said. Make sure my beans aren't overflowing. One time I cooked them and they got all dried up. All right, so he is a journeyman union plumber by trade, now in Vietnam, as a semi-itinerant folklorist and ephemeral logistics liaison. An ephemeral logistics liaison. Okay, so he's doing a lot of good work. He mentioned that he's doing more than just this, so we'll bear that in mind. And it looks pretty good. It's weird that he doesn't have any classical games. Maybe that's what he could do with Spain and Georgia. Clubs. Oh, Charlotte, that's a good place too, man. I was just there. And we got Austin, My Games. And this was from way back. Yeah, so we'll skip this one. I already followed him. Really cool story. I think he'll have a lot more games next time around. Okay, I'm going to turn you guys onto an amazing video. Then I'll come back and we'll finish this show. I got to go make sure the beans don't overflow and burn everything up. I'll be right back.
Welcome
to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board. It's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless. He rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction. The status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe. Ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe. Ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practice his rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got Lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board. It's only the other chap, still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 all accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive pot collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe. Waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe. Waiting's what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the absentness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, estate rating paralysis, with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. He locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating.
All right, we're back here. And who are we back to? We're back to the angry man. We're going to go look at the angry man. And Christian, I don't know if you're there anymore. You asked me about lead chess ladders. I don't know anything about lead chess ladders. I don't know it. All right, here we go. This is Angry Man. Joined this year. A little sporadic of work. Hopefully not too angry. Tactics kind of a little bit all over the place. But he is on the road here for sure. A lot of beginner dojoers kind of look like this. The first time they've done any training and then just bam, they gain a bunch of points. So, and that's of course a beautiful thing. Angry Man, what do we got here? All right. So, Josiah, he's an angry man. That's the angry man. So, this is his first game since being a sophomore in high school. We can, this looks like a classical game, by the way. Great. We can import the times. You have to write it down. It's worth it. Even during the game, it will slow you down as well as just have you, have a thought on what's going on with that clock. All right. So here we go. Oh, that's a delicious tea I made myself. So, very topical. Usually I have a course on this, Chessable. I recommend D takes C5. Okay. And now C3. So basically, this is going to be a little bit of an advanced thought here. Black, the danger that we have as white is if we don't do anything special, black is going to get an amazing French where his bishop is not on c8, but is outside the pawn chain. And that's why here, the disadvantage for black is he's got no time. Like he spent 1,000 tempi playing this c5 move. That's why we would like to do something like d takes c5. Okay. Now, I don't know quite what to do for you here. So the computer says he wants to play knight bd2, but computer bashmooter, you can see what the problem is, right? If black is able to develop their business, they're going to get this great French position because your pawn is, a target. In terms of development, I don't mind this move. And now queen d2 is weird. I think you should play knight bd2. Okay. Queen b6, all right. h3. This is definitely a loss of time because black wants to trade off that bishop. And now there's a big question. Can he steal it? And he goes for it this way. If I was black, I would definitely be interested in stealing it the other way, as I then have the option of getting rid of this bishop that's pinning me after. So, rook d1. All right, the guy plays bishop c5. The easy move for them to make is to just take your bishop on f3. Bishop takes. Knight c3, good move. I think they should have maybe taken back with a knight. He's a pawn grabber. All right. And we really don't like this move, though I have to admit it's not easy to know what you're supposed to do here because we've lost two big center pawns. I don't mind that one. You are trying to be tricky here. You are trying to be tricky. Okay, he gives you his bishop. Okay, here we go. Is he giving us a little something, something? So that's a bad move. We want to at least try the move b5. I don't know if it's going to work out for us, but we want to open up this coconut over here. That wasn't it. Okay. Okay, so here we have a very typical rook endgame position. And black is winning, but let's see if he can convert. I'm not sure I like rook b1. I think rook f4 makes a lot of sense. Okay, so now maybe you have, well, you probably have a chance now. Okay, you do this first, but then you figure it out. And now you are in the realm of drawing material. But, at a practical level, this is pretty spicy. So let's see. I'd love to see, yeah, that's the kind of typical problem. Yeah. Hanging pieces. So we've talked about it before. At this level, hanging stuff is really what's affecting the outcomes of the games. Stuff like king f3 there. Okay, well there it is, Josiah. You're not that angry of a man. I don't feel the anger coming through. Good annotations though. Really cool that you've come back. Next up, we have c takes b4 5-1. C takes b4 5-1. Let's take a look. Joined relatively reasonably, has a great Discord name, no real compensation, and has gone up. I don't know, gone up a couple points. It looks like a big one, but it's actually, as you can see, it's just a couple points. Okay, so his chess comp's a lot higher than his lead chess. Clubs, nothing. Games. We got people with games today. This played recently. Do we got times? We don't got times. Remember, my friends, you can bring in the times. It is possible. All right, let's go game review. Okay. Fine. And now you play d6. And you got a bunch of computer analysis that you've done here. D6 looks, at least on the surface of it, to be a big mistake because it looks like you're just hanging that coconut on D6. Like, why can't they take on D6 right now? He does this instead. Now, I think he should consider excuse me, you should consider bishop d2. Because if here, then this is really annoying. That looks like a free pawn now. Okay. And now black is just much better. Okay. Now what you've done is you've kind of turned on the computer at a bunch of points, and I don't know how much it's helping you. So, okay, they're going to drop stuff just as you drop stuff. That's what's going to decide the game, right? Rook b5. I'd love to see your times here because, look, right here you could again win another pawn by taking here and taking here. All of a sudden, the game is turned around. A lot of these moves I don't understand. You say this feels totally equal. To me, it's just a real interesting position. I'm very nervous here as black because anytime you've got a rook behind the pawn and there's a bishop looking at the coining square, it's trouble. Yeah, I wanted some kind of version of a4 coming. Okay, you still have the advantage. I don't understand. You got to pass pawns must be pushed. That's what they told me in school. Now we want annotations here. Could you have taken this pawn? It might well have been able to. Oh, we're playing too passively here. Finally, we go for it. And now who knows what's happening? Hard to evaluate. I don't know what he's doing. I don't get it. Whew, I don't know. I don't know, Uncle Joe. Could you have taken on g6? You do. Good move. Good move. And now you play bishop g4, but that might be a real problem. Yeah, bishop g4 was a real problem because then dude could have played king c6. Instead, if you'd played h5, I don't see any way. Well, we'd have to look, actually. That's pretty spicy. All right, let's look. h5. King. He is getting our coconut, but it's not over yet. King. Exclam. Exclam, baby. Yeah, buddy. This is why we need to do some annotations. We got to get in there. We'll learn some tricks. Learn some tricks. All right. So obviously this is he blunders out here. Bishop g4. He should play king c6. He doesn't. You say goodbye. He does that. And also here, let's just show you something. Knight takes, bishop takes, king takes. This is a draw too. This is a draw too. Because once it's the wrong color for the promotion. So even here, dude had a draw. All right, c takes b4. It sounds a little bit like c3po. It's not, though. It's a c takes b4 variation played on the 1951 or something. I don't know. Now we got Johnny K. What does Johnny got to say? Looks like they joined ages ago, but they have not been logging their stuff. They've done some checkmate puzzles. Have they played some games? No games from Johnny K. Well, Zemangrel. Well, you know. Oh, I didn't know I could click on it. Click to message in Discord, really? Wow, okay. That's a new feature. I didn't know I could do that. I'm learning things. I'm going to give Johnny a follow. Sometimes I forget to follow people. Catface says, onwards we go. And they have done 85. They've done a lot of work. Let's read more. Adult learner trying to think deeper in chess and life in a culture that's flashy and superficial, like most of my chess games, hoping to improve there. If we push this out here, you can see that Cat Face has gone through periods of intense study over the past year. So Cat Face is 1305, beautiful. Lots of work done. That was one of those periods where they weren't doing much right there. Cat Face is some clubs or something over there in Canada. Great. All right, Monsieur Feline. These are all ancient games, though. These are from back in April. This one, though, is more recent. Again, very important. Put the game annotations in your My Games folder. All right. Oh, and as always, you can bring your times in here. We'll go to the game review. This was played just recently. Engine already has me +1 already. Okay, it's important to talk about it a little bit. What's wrong with e4? It's a weak pawn, and most importantly, it's not a developing move. Queen e7, that's ugly. d3, I kind of like that move. You had other moves. I think knight h3, knight g5 might just win the pawn directly. But here you're developing all your pieces nicely. Okay. I can't argue with this because you're killing him. This is indeed a random patzer. You're taking all their things. Look at this too. Of course, black should take with the pawn, with the bishop. And in that bishops of opposite color endgame, they have a chance. They do have a chance in that endgame. But now their bishop's passive. I don't know. Oh, yeah, we have bishop h3. All right, so they are crispy critters. There goes the pawn. There it goes. Easy chess. Bang. All right. Well done, Cat Face. And we want to say, we want to see more of these recent games. And I think, it would help to go over the game before you do it with the engine. Because then we want a human narrative, why e4. We want you to see that it's wrong and to say why it's wrong. Right? J Ham, hello. All right, next up we have Council. And Council writes, although I use the platform, let me fix this, mostly for playing online matches with long time controls and recording my chess studies, I tend to be quite self-sufficient in finding my own materials and rarely follow the recommended tasks for my cohort. Given the randomness of my study times, self-employed with 4 kids, dang, difficult to engage in the tasks that require a partner to spar or review games. Would you please review one of my OTB matches from the cell? Okay, I can do that. Not timestamp, but my online games show that time management is not one of my problems. Main problem is my ambitions and expectations not matching my age and potential. Okay, so let's take a look at what Council's doing here. Let's give him a follow. It's over there in English Chess Federation. Okay, so he's aiming for 2,000, and he's got 450 points to go, basically, right? I think it's great. He's got his ECF rating over there. And you can see now that he is doing an immense amount of opening work. Maybe you can't see it that well on my current screen. But he is doing, as you can see there, a bunch of red, which is probably too much. Well, no, it's definitely too much. At 1400, it's not going to be the openings that are going to help you get to the next level. Okay, a little bit of openings, okay, that's where we start allowing it at this level. It's like, okay, 13, 14. Now we can do little openings. Clubs, he's in the 50 plus with me. There we go. Hopefully he can play some cool senior tournaments there in England. And we want this Cell County Champs. There we go. We got these 2 games. Beautiful. He doesn't have his times marked. I understand. And then we're going to go game review. All right, I don't know. Sometimes I need to learn something. So where is Cell County, England? There isn't a county named Cell. Oh, man. Oh, man. I guess that's what drew me to it. I was like, is there a county called Cell? Maybe there's something else. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe something else is going on. Maybe Chad will know. Any case, here we go. So, D4. Fine. Okay. This is a kind of interesting position where the big problem for black now is simply that the knight on a6 is bad. E3. Our knight on c3, not the greatest either. Okay. They decide, hey, I got to just fix this thing. Knight f3, bishop d6, and now knight e5. Which honestly seems fine. I don't think that's a mistake. Like maybe the computer thinks it's a mistake or something, but I think it's fine. Another cool idea in these positions, honestly, or the move I would like best, is bishop d3. Because then they take and you get a really good grip on the e5 square. One reason actually you can see that studying openings too intently here isn't going to help you. In fact, it's probably confusing you, is your opponents aren't going to play the book moves. They're going to play something like knight b8. Right? And then you just want to have a good chess sense of what's going on. All right, bishop d3, good. Queen c7, here it comes. And now, yeah, you're following some kind of idea. Black has an interesting idea with knight d7. It's not going to save their souls or anything. Okay, so look, let's think about it. He wants to play knight d7. You talk about queen f3. Queen f3 is a thought. This thing, notice, is very complicated what you're doing because you're allowing knight h5. And just superficially, I don't know if I believe it. Right? But a very typical idea that you could have used here was bishop g3, knight bd7, f4, and you have a nice position. Very hard for him to dislodge you. Okay, so g4 is too much. I think a reasonable example of opening study that's gone awry. All right, here we go. Now, knight d7. I think you could have really considered g5. That's hectic. But here we go. Knight d7, bishop d7, snip, snop, g5. Good. Knight e8, f4. Good move. I think that's very important. Otherwise, black is going to achieve e5. Okay. Black really needs to fix their knight. That is a big problemito in Casito. You have to fix your knight too. All right, here we go. c5, and you go for it. All right, you talk about queen f3 here. So basically, this is an all-in idea here. You're claiming that you're going to allow him to body slam your center, and you're going to be able to mate him in time. So here, yeah, it'd be really great to have the time controls here. So when black plays f5, you don't like it. You should probably tell us what you want. So I would imagine the key variation to be pop, 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 pop. If I was black, I think this is the only thing I would be truly afraid of. But here we have queen e7. And if snip, then snop. And I think we're holding it together. We should maybe continue another move, bishop g6. That's kind of hot, you can see. Feels like the party kind of a little bit is continuing here. Okay, so that's the kind of thing that you would want to look at before you commit to queen h6. The other thing that he could do that would be very boring is just play c4 immediately, and then your bishop isn't doing anything over there. All right, so here we go. f5, h4. You're all in. You're all in, my friend. Queen e7, h5, queen g7. You call that a double question mark. You should say what you want black to actually do, though, because if he plays queen e7, queen g7 is definitely what he's trying to do. You say hg, hg. And then you talk about dc5. Now, maybe dc5, but it's got to be said, it's not incredibly intuitive why that's the move. Now, he could have played, now, so you're saying, maybe your computer's saying, that this is bad because of c4. But think about it. He could have played c4 so many times already, and he did not. All right, you say you're much better here. Rook f7. Rook f7 is a little weird to me. I would want to see maybe knight d6. He needs to fix his knight. Yeah, I don't like that. Your king's better, so don't trade nothing. Good. Now he's doing fine now, I think. Oh my god. All right, so you want to go to e5. King f7. Knight d2. King e7. I don't understand this. Now, of course, if he was concerned about this, he could have played knight e4 and prevented you from coming to e5. I don't understand black's last moves. I see. This is what he wants. But now you get this. Okay, now you're better because he's passive. You stick it in. All right, bold. And you're claiming that your bishop is much better. Maybe you're winning this position. Maybe you are. He's very passive. He needs a plan. That's not a plan. And that's what looks like just a terrible weakness. Good move. Reasonable. Oh, passive. Good move. Oh, now you got him. Yeah, you're crushing him now. Oh, well done. I guess it was maybe I have spoke too soon, huh? Still, like, you're pretty good control here. No, you don't like bishop c4. The most natural move to look at would be c4. I think a5 makes sense. A little bit of back and forth. I guess I would want to look at rook takes b6. That was good. Now he's done. I like this a lot. Wow, great game. Great game. Okay. That was a well-played game from a lot of perspectives. I think the opening is confusing you a little bit, but one thing just to say about this, okay, is when when instead of thinking about lines, your opponents are going to do weird things. And so if you analyze your games with knight b8, your games, and they play something weird like knight b8, you'll get a sense of the plans. So, for example, we talked about this variation with queen f3, which I think is very complicated. Allowing knight h5 is very odd to me. Maybe it works, but you just realize, oh, I got this simple plan, and this will come up again for you. Okay, beautiful stuff. Let's go back to the grad show thing. We're gonna go back here. We are already following counsel, and now we have RTX. I don't know if I know about RTX. Let's give RTX a follow. Okay, so RTX is sporadically logging their business, a lot of opening. All right, 1302. All right, clubs, nothing. Games. That is the telltale sign of a raid. Anamaya, thank you for raiding. Well, Anamaya, thank you. I hope we had a great stream. Right here, we're just hanging out. We're looking at people who have graduated in the ChessDojo training program. That means people who went from one cohort to the next. In this case, we have RTX, who went from 12 to 13 into 1300, 1400. We're going to take a look at his training, and we normally look at a game. However, RTX here, this game's from 2024, and so what we can see with RTX, he's doing stuff in chess, but he's not logging it religiously, and he's not doing the religious thing that the dojo requires, which is annotating your games. It's a hard process. All right, so that's RTX, and now we're going to move on to the famous Mate in 35, who wrote me. He wrote me a novel. All right, here we go. When you graduate 8 times, you're allowed to, write a novel. He has graduated 8 times. The path to graduating from this cohort was certainly the most challenging I've faced, not only in terms of what happens on the board. Submarine Mike, thank you for subscribing, but also psychologically. Over the boards, opponents become more resilient. Smaller mistakes would be punished, and every move felt like it had real consequences. Psychologically, it was challenging because I could feel my understanding of the game growing, my calculation growing sharper, and yet it still felt very difficult to see actual rating progress. Until it didn't, and I started seeing great results both online and OTB. In terms of what I think worked and what didn't, I can wholeheartedly say that the cave strategy of studying chess but not playing very actively was a huge failure. To some extent, I avoided playing online because I feared losing rating. The kids call that ladder anxiety now. Even despite the amount of tactics I'd been doing, most of chess is about playing reasonable, improving moves, seeing threats, and exploring ideas. It's important to spot tactics on the board, but I really missed getting in my reps of playing normal moves. Perhaps unsurprisingly, what did work was playing more chess in addition to studying. I started to strictly track my chess time and follow Studer's 1/3 rule. 1/3 games analysis, 1/3 tactics, and 1/3 everything else. In combination with a weekly time goal, this forced me to prioritize the thing that mattered. For games and analysis, I excluded classical. Classical felt like a bit of a cop-out because I could play 2 games per month and pretty easily accomplish that 1/3. So rapid and blitz it was. And while perhaps blasphemous at the dojo, it worked really well. This forced me to put my ideas to the test, to analyze my mistakes, and to sharpen various aspects of my game. I used my games as the basis for expanding my opening repertoire and made Anki flashcards from instructive positions. Wow. The whole thing has been the perfect combination of fun, effective, and very sustainable. As for what else worked, I've been grinding puzzles on Lee Chess on the easier setting, allowing me to get in high-quality reps of simple but not totally trivial puzzles. I see it as practicing the layups. My biggest accomplishments from this cohort: beating a German 1800 player as a 1450 classical, winning my section at a single-day classical tournament, and maintaining a German 1600 performance over the course of the league. Beautiful. Back to the grind. All right, now I'm going to check out this game here. So this man, made in 35, he is committed. 8 graduations. Very impressive, dude. Very impressive to do 8 graduations. Let's give him a click over here. So he's from Texas, but has lived in Germany. And he's only become obsessed recently, so January 24. Wow. And he has just been flying up. 8 graduations, gone up 737 points. Amazing. And there he's got his German rating over there. He's trying to get to 1600. Good. Okay. So, interesting stuff. Great. This all looks beautiful. All right, we're going to pop this out here. He took a break from logging stuff. I mean, he probably just was doing stuff, but he wasn't logging it. There you can see the man is mostly very busy. Okay, this guy's amazing. All right, we are now going to put this game in that he wants us to look at. Ba-bam. So first we'll take a look at the time graph. And I know exactly what happened here. The time graph, we're going to call it corrupted, but I can still interpret it. I think somebody wrote down the times a little funky. And so, yeah, the time was marked as like 0 on the first move and then, differently on after that. So I think that's what happened, and that's why we don't have a time graph. But what you can see is that around move 20, both players stopped thinking. We'll see what that's about when we get there. And actually, Foos Chess is talking about these flashcards. And so I'm just going to Google for myself here. Anki flashcards. Is a free and open source flashcard program. Okay, cool. Okay, totally interesting. All right, let's get into it. Boom, let's go game review. I'm pretty sure, I like this. I was pretty sure this ODB and right is he's playing some German kid. D4. One thing that's interesting, great move so far, that's interesting about Germany right now is, I would say they are at their strongest in the last 100 years, They have several players now who are, they used, back in the day they had Huber and stuff. Anyways, now they got a couple of strong players coming up. So that's interesting. Surprisingly, the U.S. is also at its strongest it's been in a very long time. It's got a lot of players in the over 2,700 club. Okay, so this is a very fun system. I love what Made in 35 is doing. I recommended this in my course. It's a very simple setup. We're going to castle and we're going to play h4. Okay, so h6. King b1 can't be bad. Personally, I think whenever they play h6, we should be looking to play h5, g5, and then pop them to open the position. Okay. But he wants to play it slow. And black adopts what we're going to call a hippo-like setup. Knight h3. So if, for example, black had played h5, then this knight h3 makes a lot of sense to go to g5. But now I don't know if it makes that much sense. Knight e7, g4. I don't like this d5 move. So in general, black one should have tried to play a kind of chess where they're just waiting for white to move. This d5 move allows us to, well, do a variety of things. And we want the position to open. Please let me open the position, right? Okay. So, what should we do? E5 certainly looks interesting. I'm just trying to see why. Okay, so here he says he didn't like how weak his pawns looked. I understand. Do I get that? See, he still has a problem where he can't castle yet because of h6. And at a minimum, I can do bishop e2 followed by knight f4. So let's just say we know that d5 is bad, but it's not that easy to know exactamundo what to do with it. One nice thing about ED actually is I don't know what your knight is doing here, but I know what it's doing if we take, because we'll eventually come into f4. Christian PV says Keimer, Bluebaum, we got those guys, and we got these new brothers, Die Gebruder Svana, and then we got Donchenko. Yeah, I got to hang out with Donchenko a little bit in Charlotte. All right, here we go. E5, C5, F4. Now, so we got a French structure, and there's reasons to be scared out of our minds here because I don't know what the knight on H3 is doing. I think F5 is a long way away, this break. And black has a lot of juice on the queen side. I think this is a mistake. There's no need to be doing that already. In fact, I'm going to guess even C4 now might be the end of the line for us because this B4, it's going to roll. As the song says, them heads are going to roll. Still, I like black here. Knight E2. I don't like this. That was terrible. Okay. Bishop G2. I guess I kind of like knight F2 better. He takes. Oh. And you talk now about knight G5. And you thought here for 9 minutes. By the way, we're about to reach the point where both players stop thinking. So it'll be interesting to see what happened there. Let's look at his variations. Knight G5. On Queen G4, he gets trapped with Bishop F3. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, he's just getting trapped all around here. So Queen H4. Queen H4, wrong from so many perspectives. Ah, it's a bummer you missed it. Okay. So Queen E3. The kid goes back. I don't know if I understand that move. Okay, the kid's, well, he wants to hurt you. F5. Is he hurting you? I don't know. You allow him now to do this. Oh my God, you allowed the infamous knight C3. All right, here it comes. Knight A4. What about rook C8 there? Oh my God. Okay. These are good annotations. He's saying rook C8 and just, I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. If we took, I don't know if we can do this. At the minimum, it's very frightening to me. For minimum. For minimum, it is very frightening. Also, I got to worry about, once I take that thing, I got to worry about old D4. That's also scary. No, you got this as bishop saying. Oh, what a mess. Okay, it's a mess. Jess, it's a mess. Also, another move he should consider here is castles. Exclam. What a mess. I'd rather be black. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea, but I'd rather be black. All right, so he goes check. It looks superficial what he's doing. Good move. Can you play B4? You do. You say thank you very much. Now I think you're winning. A good move. Good move. One might wonder how this game was a draw. Well, one basic thing we're going to say is you definitely played it really fast. King G7, Rook D3. All right, too fast. Now maybe you stopped notating, but let's just say this knight needs help. He's been angry at you for a long time. Bring him in. Bring that guy in. He controls this G2 square too. Yeah. We need mate. Looks like knight h5 is a mate. All right. You're, of course, still winning. This was the last point in the game where I wrote the time down. Now, you do have a 30-second increment, boss. So, you know, it shouldn't be a problem. That wasn't good. We didn't like to allow that. Not sure you have a plan here. It feels like we're just kind of moving around. Oh, no. So you talk about knight f5. So he played c4. Knight f5, boom, boom, g4. I'm confused, though. Like, what happens on king g6? Now, you use the table base to figure it out, but it makes sense here that black is going to be okay. You know, who knows what's happening? Beloved bookkeeper, cool to see you here. So c4, I don't know if that's a double exclam. You've already blown it. You've already blown it. And now we got to draw. Okay. So that was sad. Very interesting game. Yeah. And the kid played some impulsive moves. Definitely had, the kid had probably some good tactical skill, but played impulsive moves like d5 and then bouncing his knight around a4, c5. He didn't know what was going on. Took on d4. Yeah. So, good annotation. We'll mark that as reviewed, and we'll go back to the grad show. Tell me how I just found out you're playing in the Charm City tournament. How did you just find out? How did you just find out, beloved? There's going to be a rapid tournament on the 21st, so 11 days. I'm going to be playing that bad boy. Represso says, I've recently received my ECF and FIDE IDs. I'll start working on my OTB rating next year. Okay. So this is Represso. Represso has also graduated tons of times. He's in Warwick University in the UK. He's either studying, sleeping, or playing chess. Look at this. Ba-bam! He began in the midsummer, has been very active here. Got an amazing Puzzle Rush survival score. They post the people who are signed up on Facebook. Honestly, that's, I think, how I found out about the tournament. I was kind of reminded of it in any case. And I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm looking up Warwick, England. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, too. They get really mad, when you don't pronounce it right. I feel like, in general, English, it's outside of Birmingham. I think I might have looked already once. So there it is, right outside of Birmingham. All right, there it is. Look at that. Okay, I got to go back to England someday. Here's Represso. This one, he has maybe this Shreyas Royale. That guy's famous. Did I already do this one? No, I haven't. So, there's a simul. Cool. Now, this kid, Shreyas Royale, let's Google this kid, actually, because I've heard of this kid. And every country has their kids that they're kind of excited about. And I think this kid Shreyas is somebody the English are really pumped on. So he's 16, Indian kid, but living in England. I think he has a lot of support. So let's see here. He's already a GM. I'm just looking at his progress here. So it's brutal, by the way. You know, you're trying to make it. I'll just show you guys briefly. He's a grandmaster already, but if you look at his business here, it's kind of slowed down. It's so brutal, you know. And really, to like crack the elite, you gotta be more like, reaching more closer to at least 26 now. You know, so he has this moments of stagnation here. He can still make it, of course. I'm just saying, he's got so many competitors. There's so many Indian kids, bruv. Oh, man. Oh, there's so many Indian kids. All right, here we go. We're going to check out this simul game. So far, so good. Okay. Okay. Boom. All right. Well said. Can't be that bad. F3. Tame move. Yeah, and you know, when you're playing a simul, you don't want to be playing crazy chess. You just want to keep it on the down low. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to play no scotch if I was playing a simul. All right, bishop d7. h4. I don't know. You need a plan, of course. And you do this. Okay, I think I'm okay with this. And you go here. I think I'm okay with that. h5. So he's doing some alpha 0 stuff, dude. And you play h6. We get a little chop. a5. Yeah. So knight bc5. Yeah, that's a hard move to play in a simul. Okay, queen c3. Knight c6. All right, he fixes his knight. Now king h8. Good. All right, I like the way the kid's playing. Yeah, just that's, you know, you're playing a simul. You just play the simple building moves. Wait for your opponent to blow it. Queen e7, and now he plays a weird-looking move, rook g1. Yeah, queen d2 or something. I don't understand. Wait, what? I just want to admit I don't know what his idea is. Yeah, maybe something like queen h4. That would be the spice, the full Spice Girls there. All right, a4, a3. He was kind of waiting for you there. Now he gets the little dark square grip around your pawn. Well, that was his idea. He's ready. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to go in. He wanted to go down. Okay. Rook f4. You talk about queen h4. Makes sense. He misses g5. He doesn't see. He just wants to keep it nice and safe. I know all about it. I've done the simuls in my time. You know. Just keep it nice and safe, Mr. Splafe. Rook d4. Oh no. Oh, he got us. And now we're toast. My concentration drops after 2 hours of play and calculation is poor. Well, that's really cool, man. That's really cool, Represso. I mean, you got a chance to play this kid. And He was like, I want to say like 2 years ago or so, they were really pumping him up. They were like, he's gonna be the next one, blah blah blah. He played some good chess against you. I felt like he's just holding the position, building moves. You know, obviously gonna miss some stuff. You know, as when you're playing a simul, you don't really even want to do anything tactical. Okay, so I think chess.com is putting us now on their thing, and that's why the numbers went crazy. It's not actually, there's no 1,500 people watching, I guarantee it. I'm in a corner of some little page that they put me on, but I'm thankful for it. Thank you, chess.com. All right, here we go. Next up, we got Nico. We got two more. Nico says, I would love to attribute this to reading like 5 chapters of how to reassess your chess, but I think the reality is that I'm on a bit of a hot streak and a lucky streak in my ChessCom Rapid games. I'm blundering a lot like an idiot, but my opponents mostly aren't seeing them. I'm seeing most of my opponents' blunders, and I've been getting rewarded for Hope Chess at points. That being said, I do think the effort to engage with chess more seriously through the dojo and some readings and the tactics test has allowed me to enter System 2 thinking more often and has helped me out a lot. I think I will fall in rating soon, but I do feel some forward progress. Oh, you're not going to necessarily fall. I've played a few classical games, but honestly, my time usage in them is so comically bad that 1, I'm too embarrassed to show them, and 2, they have been almost useless. Now, let me just say, I have been teaching chess since the last millennium, and I've had so many students come to me and say, oh, we shouldn't even look at this game. There's nothing going on here. This is dumb. And I've yet to actually encounter the game that was actually dumb. I haven't seen it yet. There are no lessons in any of them except, hey, I need to take way more time in critical positions. Okay, so let's go check out Nico here. Sweet Blue says I'm on the Chess TV. All right. So, I'm going to guess Nico is not analyzing or noting down what they're doing. An American based in Estonia. I think that's amazingly interesting. I would love to go play chess in Estonia. They say that, if you're a single dude, if you're like looking for the ratio of women to men being just like extraordinary, I think it's Estonia, dude. I think like all the dudes aren't there, and so you would just be a king. And maybe that's what Nico's doing. Maybe that's what Nico's doing, man. That might be what's going on. All right, let's go look. Nico, if you could make an Estonian club, I'll try to get Jan Elvis in there. Oh, Nico, bud. So listen, again, hear me roar here for a second, Nico. You're saying that your games aren't interesting. It's not true. It's not true. I can tell you that your games have something of interest. Wild True Game, just subscribe. Thank you. There's something interesting going on. You think that, but if you have a higher rated player look at them, they're going to find some stuff. I promise you. Give it a chance. All right, we're going to heart Nico here, so I'm following him. And now we got Lab IT Guy. Lab Guy says, I'm coming back to chess after a fairly long break, and the dojo is keeping me motivated to carry on with improving even when life gets in the way, and I have very little time to actually spend on chess-related activities. Beautiful. I love when we got some stronger players coming back. I love that we need stronger players. We need a lot more players at this rating level up here in the 2000s. In fact, after this, I think I'm going to go peek, see how many players we have in that cohort. So, he is doing well with the pretty high USCF rating. Reasonable tactics rating, though there are checkmate puzzles, but we got to work on that. Okay, so Lab IT Guy joined ages ago, maybe, and then came back. Let's see what's going on. Oh, he's in the Louisiana dojo. Maybe he played Naka. Maybe he played Naka when that went down. Now, he has OTB games and my games. They should be the same thing. All right, we do have a game, very recent. This is against AZ. All right. Now, I always like it when the dojo player has a great time graph and the opponent is playing a little bit like a chump. Very common, even at the higher levels, when you're playing online, that they will play quickly and impulsively. It's hard to think when you're online. Okay, let's go game review. All right. Thank you, Wild True Game. And now, let's take a look. So far, great. Classical chess. This is a little frisky, bishop c5. All right, b5, bishop b3, and this is his idea, knight g4. Okay, here, h3, and he talks about h5, which would be very frisky. And he says, you know what? I'm happy I didn't. All right, so c3. And basically now we get a position, I guess I would call the arc-angle-esque. And I don't, white lost some tempi and black, I'm going to just guess that they both lost the same amount of time here. Bishop g5, frisky move. This is a frisky move because if the bishop, when we kick him, can the bishop maintain himself on h4, or can black get away with g5? So it looks like he wants to play g5 next. And he says, instead of g5, he says, always desirable when playing g7, g5, and he means ed4. Because bishop d4 is an important defensive resource, though probably less important here because white can't really play knight g5 with a rook blocking their queen. So let me just stress, GMs only play bishop g5 in exceptional situations. Because if black plays g5 and you can't do anything fancy like knight g5, and your bishop goes to g3, it's dead. It's dead on g3. And black can even think about doing knight h5 stuff. So the only real concern is, could he whack you? And I'm kind of with you. I don't think he can whack you. All right, so ed4, cd4, and now g5. And I'm just going to say I don't get it, but he does, because here he's playing g4. All right, so it's a very spicy tomato now. It's a very spicy tomato. Because the bishop now in g3 is... So in the other position, if we had played g5, the bishop would just be dead hitting this pawn. And now it's got a little bit more scope, especially scope now also here. Oh my gosh. Snip, snap. Whew, it's hot. And now he plays bishop h4. And Lab IT guy talks about bishop d5. This is a very hard position for me to judge. Okay. So bishop h4 looks problematic. We could also just imagine knight c3. In all these positions, it feels to me like white has compensation. So he tries this, snip, snap, knight d4, and now rook e1 we're going to call a big mistake. And he's saying rook e3 is better. e1, and this is a true exclam move. If that's true, then that's true. Wow, this is exciting. Queen d7. Great, great. Queen h3. Wow, this is beautiful. So if bishop d4, king h7. Very nice. Rook e3. And he calls knight b3 unnecessary. Wants king h7 first. I don't know. So far, I don't see how it's going to change anything. F4. Oh, that's how it maybe changes something, huh? Queen H4. Boom, boom. So what do you want him else to do, though, besides F5, right? G4. Yeah, Queen G3. All right, so what we want to put a question mark over here before, and let me just see if I can understand it. Very tight position. So if King H7, F4, Rook G8, Bishop G5, and now Queen H4. It's hot. So the scary thing is, I get why he wanted to kill the bishop, because he was like, oh, maybe this or something. But I think, dude, it's just like here, immediate monte. And these guys aren't playing. This guy's coming in. Beautiful chess, yeah. I get why you did it, though. And seeing this kind of stuff, like, All right, Queen F4 is a frisky move. That looks fun. I bet he missed that. Queen H2. That's a big concession. You got to say thank you there, because that's a nice pawn. C5, I like that move. Check to the miserable king. I'm not sure about Rook D1. I think I like that move. All right, what's happening, Cry? Black's winning. Black's winning. That's what's happening. Rook H8, we don't want to do. That's a nice miss. Rook E8. Thank you very much. And this looks winning. Lab IT guy, that was great, man. That was fantastic. Yeah. Beautiful stuff. Okay, let's look at a couple things before I get out of here, actually. So let's go full dojo. We're just going to look at what the 2,000 to 2,100 cohort looks like. And I'll go over here, grad show. That's a pretty strong cohort, dude. Yeah, that's a great cohort, man. So I would say at the beginning of the dojo, one of our key problems was we didn't have enough high-rated players that were doing the work and, you know, could spar with each other and yada yada. And now look at this. This is looking great, man. This is looking fantastic. We got 34 players, most of them very active. All right, so that's a beautiful thing. The next thing I want to do is I want to go log my own business for today. I didn't do much, but because the day was hectic. I didn't do a lot, though. And what did I do? I did 45 minutes today of this quality chess workbook, which is brutal. So we'll just update that. What do I got for the week? I've only got about 7 hours for the week, so I got some stuff. I got my own work to do. All right, my friends, that is about it. Let me check what's going on here. Actually, let's watch a video. Let's see if we can watch a video here. This is a video that hasn't been released yet. Let's see if it's any cool. Let's go. Ba-bam. The ChessDojo. Wait, Cry. Make sure it's correctamundo. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's go.
Is launching live classes on January 1st. These will both be lecture classes and also game and profile review classes. And I just want to spend a couple minutes on how we got here. Now, I've been following the Dojo training program myself for years religiously. You can see my heat map here. And I've also enjoyed, though, having lessons. Somebody to take a look at my annotations of my games also to ask questions about my training, to just have some feedback. The problem with that, and I'm sure for many other people, is it was very expensive for me to do that. And so what I was dreaming about was to find a way to make it work in a more cost equitable way, and maybe also a more fun way. So for the last year plus, I've been doing these game and profile review classes, and they've been an amazing success. And so we're going to try to institutionalize them across the dojo. So basically, for the game and profile review, you're in a group of like 4 to 8 players, and on any given week, one player is up. And when that player is up, we'll begin by taking a look at their training. We'll take a look at everything they've done, in the last couple of weeks, or the last time since we saw them in this game and profile review class. And then we'll take a look at a game or games that they've played. And the really amazing thing that we've done, just kind of organically, is these groups have been meeting once before, so even without me. And in that group, they talk about training, they talk about the games, and this has been a key problem with the dojo from the beginning, because at the beginning we had the principle of plus minus equal. And the idea there was that you need to have somebody above you to whom you give a certain amount of authority. The training program itself is a little bit like that. And then you have a group of equals with whom you spar, you talk, you might fight a little bit, right? And then you have a minus, somebody to whom you explain stuff, and that's very important too. You have to learn to articulate what you're doing in order to improve at something. But we found that at the dojo very hard to get that plus minus equal thing actually going. And in these group classes that I've been doing, that's been very successful. And they were the ones who started meeting before and just organically approved this amazing construct. And so we're going to continue doing that here. Now, time is always a big question. You might not be able to make that peer review group. It'll be recorded. You can check it out later. Same thing if you miss a class itself. That will also be recorded. So that's really cool. And another thing that we've been doing, we're going to try to keep this going as well, is players within a group will play games against each other, classical sparring games. And then what happens when a game is up is then it's not just I'm looking at one player, but I'm also looking at 2 players at the same time. And the value is when you're looking at somebody else, you are able to see your own failings in their mistakes. They are generally going to have similar problems as you do because they're around your same level. And that gives you a real insight into your own growth problems and those of your competition. Because learning to fix a mistake in yourself will always eventually lead to you exploiting the weaknesses in your opponents. Okay, so that's the game and profile review. Very excited about that. We're also going to have these lecture classes, and we're hoping to really build this out. At the very beginning, I'm going to do a basic endgame.
Look at that haircut.
For beginners.
What do they do?
Is going to do a Najdorf class. Host is going to do a calculation class. As that grows, we're hoping to really build that out, to bring in famous other GMs and stuff, have them teach, and of course, we need more. The more students we have, the easier it is going to be for us to build that out. At the moment for January, we have those 3. Very excited about it. And of course, one of the cool things we can do is then if you're a part of the game and review classes, you can just immediately have access to those lecture style classes. So that's going to be our new offering. And I'm also able to announce that beginning January 1st, really every January 1st, you can try the dojo for free for 1 month. We believe that the site gets better every year, and so especially if you tried it before and our site wasn't there for you yet, we want you to come back and to see the remarkable progress we've made. It's a beautiful site. I hope to see you there.
All right, my friends. Cool. Great. I'm going to get out of here. We're going to raid somebody. They might not even have their shirt on. Okay? They might not even have their shirt on, but we're going to go. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back next Wednesday, always on the Wednesday Maybe I'm going to see beloved bookkeeper at the tournament on the 21st. You never know. So, say hi.